Good morning and welcome to a very wet and soggy Three Sisters. I'm not sure if you can see, there you go, look, absolutely chucking it down with rain. We had a bit of testing on Friday, bit of track time, just to make sure that we've learned the track, not like Anglesey where we'd never been before and just sort of winged it. So we're here at Three Sisters with a bit of track time under our belt. Not a lot, but we did the test day in the dry, and here, well, yeah, it's, as you can see, wet and it's meant to be raining all day, so it's going to be one of them weekends where it's just going to be about staying upright, scoring points towards the championship, keeping a level head, and yeah, staying upright. Right, so we've got the bike all scrutineered now. It's all passed, safe, ready to go for this morning's practice qualifying. The weather at the moment is absolutely appalling. It's just chucking it down. You can probably hear it on the camera. It's not great. So we've put the wets on. We've just got to wait for briefing, and then once briefing's done, we can get the Jenny on, put the warmers on, adjust the tyre pressures, and go from there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to going out in the wet because it's the first time since Brands Hatch. We didn't get any footage at Brands because the channel wasn't around then, but yeah, hopefully we can stay upright, get some track time in, learn the track in the wet, and then be ready for the race. I have entered for 2 classes this race weekend. Normally it's just the one, it's the ACU round, but because they've got like 3 or 4 125 races going on this weekend, thought I'd enter at least one of them. So we've got the ACU Championship and the PDMCC street stock class, so I've got 2 chances to win a trophy. Right, so we've just been to the rider briefing, so that's all done. They have just announced as well, due to the weather, that there's some sections of the track that pool, so a lot of water builds up there, so they've decided to change the circuit layout. So instead of doing the full circuit, we're just doing the perimeter circuit, so the whole infield bit we're now not doing. So it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for me today, but if anything, it's kind of a positive because there's less corners. Hopefully we can, because like I said, I've got 2 practice sessions today, so one's for the ACU and one's for the street stock class. So I think the street stock class is first, so I'm going to do the street stock class, learn the track, not too bothered about finishing that because like I said, it's more track time than anything. I mean, like I said, a podium will be a bonus, but if I don't get on the podium, it won't be too much of a problem. But yeah, we've got the ACU Championship as well. So just got back from FP1 for the street stock race, and I felt pretty confident out there. It was wet. My tyre warmer was actually unplugged. Well, the fuse tripped in the generator actually, so I ended up not having pretty much warm tyres. So going around, I just had to generate a bit of heat, but it's so hard when it's wet. And obviously there was a when I went out, I wasn't first out. There was quite a few people in front of me, so I had to get through some back markers. There was like yellow flags for about 4 or 5 laps. But no, I think we're good if it stays wet. I don't know about dry, but I just passed people and no one came past me, so I think I've qualified quite high up. I don't know because there was obviously going to be people behind me that were going faster. So yeah, but other than that, yeah, no, I feel confident in the wet now. Just need to give the bike a little wipe down because it's a bit dirty, and wait for the ACU practice, which is the main one. So I've just, like I said, been out for the practice qualifying. I've just gone to check where I've qualified. Stuck it third, so front row it's Morgan, Carl, and then myself. So it's looking good for the street stock. It looks like we're going to be there or thereabouts. But like I said, I'm not fighting for this championship. It's literally just a one-off round, so nothing too major to worry about. But next session after this, I think there's either this session or the one after, and then it's my session on the ACU championship. So we'll see how we get on with that. Again, I think the track's slowly starting to dry up, so I'm just hoping it rains a little bit more because I'm dreading it being dry, to be honest. I'm not don't get me wrong, I like the dry, but it equals everything up when it's wet, so I want it to rain a little bit more. But by the looks of it, it looks like it's going to clear up for a bit and then it's going to rain again. So I think this practice session might be in the wet, the race might be in the dry, and then the second race might be in the wet again, so we'll see how it goes. Right, so just got back from the ACU qualifying, and well, I kind of wish I run the camera on that one. It wasn't very, it was a bit I got stuck behind one of the two-strokes. So down the straights they'd absolutely fly, and then as soon as they came to a corner they'd just be really slow because obviously it was wet. They were taking the time, but I had a lot more corner speed and I just got held up for like 3 or 4 laps. Well, probably more than that, maybe 5 or 6 laps. So really struggling, to be honest, to get that qualifying lap in. I mean, in the wet I was perfectly fine, but there is starting to be a few more dry lines up there, so possibly because we've got a race in an hour, so hopefully it either rains within that hour or it goes bone dry, so we'll have to have a look. But I think it's going to be wet for race 1 in the street stock, and then after lunch is the ACU, so I'll run the camera for both races and you'll be able to see how it comes. But yeah, I think for the ACU one I've qualified far back, so I've got some work to do, as that's the championship I'm actually fighting for. So I've just gone to have a look at my qualifying positions for the ACU, and I did better than I thought. I've qualified 4th, so 4th on the grid isn't bad. Like I said, I got held up and it was a bit difficult to sort of find any track time, but qualified 4th, so 2nd row, not too bad really, but yeah, it's just a case of staying upright, scoring points and finishing ahead of Paul, really. That's it. But it looks like it's starting to dry out and it doesn't look like it's going to rain anytime soon, so it might be a dry race, I'm not sure, but there is a lot of dry lineage coming about. Race 1 has just been called now, so I'm going to be going out in a second. We've just redone the tyre pressures because I think they went up to like 40 after we put them on the heaters, because obviously the first time I didn't have time to heat them up because the tyre warmers basically didn't work off the generator. But race 1's out now, we're next. So yeah, it's looking good. Qualified 3rd for this race. So all we need to do is just stay in the top 3 and we'll be happy. Like I said, it's not a points race for us, it's just more of track time. So yeah, I'll get the GoPro up as well so you can see what's going on this race, and I'll see you after the race. Right, so as you saw, there was a bit of drama on the start line. People didn't know where they was on the grid. twice, 3 times, so we ended up getting held on the grid for ages and ages and ages. And then finally the lights went out, but the track was basically bone dry. Everyone had wets on, so it was just really difficult to sort of get a gauge. I had no feeling with the wets whatsoever, and yeah, I struggled. As you saw, it got quite chaotic coming to the back markers because the track's not very wide, it's quite hard to pass. Right, so we've just had our lunch break. We're just about to go out for race 1 for the ACU Championship. It's looking dry now, so we put the slicks on, so we should be ready to rock. So we're gonna have a bit of water and an energy gel, and then yeah, we'll be out on track ready for race 1 of the ACU race. This is the one that counts, so I've got to make sure I basically get a good feeling on the bike round here, and yeah, so finish ahead of Paul basically, but I think Paul qualified really far back on that one, so yeah. sorry, that was race 1 for ACU, all done and dusted. That was a lot better. I felt a lot better as well because it was dry and we had slicks in the dry. It made things a lot better, but they held us again in the holding area for way too long. and it just, yeah, plays on your mind a little bit because of like the heat in the tyres. But to be honest, I think I was fine. But yeah, I know exactly where I'm losing time now, and it's that fast right hander where the bumps are. I can't seem to have the guts to keep it flat out through there because it wobbles around so much. I'm not used to the bike moving around underneath me. So yeah, and as well, like that guy, I don't know who it was, some novice bloke, he came flying up the inside of me and crashed. So there he is in the background. We're third, I think, in class, so 5th overall, 3rd in class. Can't complain really. So yeah. Right, so that is race, I want to say 3 of the day, street stock race. And again, you saw that I had some good pace at the start, but we were all in the same boat, so you probably wondered why we were going so slow around the track. Originally, it was really cloudy and it was raining just before we went out, so everyone had swapped to wets, and then just as we got into the holding area, the sun came out and the track was basically bone dry. So everyone was just running around on wet tyres in the dry. The bloke who finished behind me just had I think he had a wet front and a slick rear, so on the exits he had a bit more poke than me. But yeah, as you saw as well, the back markers were getting in the way, but we managed to get round them, held 4th. You saw Paul did a late move on me, but tried to stick with him. But again, it's my first time racing here, so I can't really complain with a top 5 finish really, so I've never been here before. So yeah, there's that, and then we've got one more ACU race, and then that's us done for the day. So hoping for another podium and snatch it off Paul, but let's see how it goes. Right, so we're just about to go out for race 4, I think, race 4. So race 2 of the ACU. It has just started raining again. I'll show you what we're looking at. Made it into the vlog, my guy.
Hello, mate. You alright?
What's happening, Dave? What are you saying? Slicks or wets?
I'm going one of each.
One of each. Well, you know, I think I'm going to stick with the slicks, man.
I've put a wet front in.
Right. So if you look at the sky currently, it's this cloud here that's letting the rain out, and then it's blue sky. So I'm going to risk it, and I'm just going to go with the slicks. So I think stay with the slicks, stick with the slicks, and just ride, score points, stay upright. If it rains, just toddle round like any points at the moment right now. It's dead tight between me, Morgan, and Paul. So yeah, just fingers crossed it doesn't rain anymore. It says it's going to stop in 4 minutes, so. Right, so that was the last race of the day. I'm quite tired actually, just because it's been a on and off day with changing tyres and just jumping about. Honestly, I'm really tired. But towards the end of the race, I started feeling a little bit more confident. But again, as you saw, I just lost a lot of time after like lap 3 or 4. I can be there for like the first couple laps, and then they start getting away again, which is completely different to how it was at the start of the year. I was up there constantly, so something's got to change. I don't know what it is, but it might just be the case that the track's just new to me and I don't know the track. But yeah, I think I've got third for the overall in the championship. So again, that's points. I've been in the top 3 apart from Cadwell when I crashed. I was 4th, but I've been on the podium every race weekend. So yeah, I think just Paul's catching up on points now, which is the only sort of downside. But we'll make some ground up at Alton Park, and yeah. But yeah, no, other than that, I'm as sort of the best sort of, well, the best obviously would have been a win, but third place in the ACU Championship isn't bad to say. I've never raced it before, and the three lads that were up at the front come here every other weekend and just absolutely do thousands and thousands of laps. So really, really happy to say I came away with a third in the street stock class. Apologies, it's been a couple weeks, I think like 2 weeks since Three Sisters. I've been extremely busy with work, getting the bike ready, getting other stuff ready. So yeah, apologies for the late video. I'm actually at Teesside tomorrow. But yeah, so overall, Three Sisters, what a weekend it was. Loads of downpour of rain in the morning, extremely sunny in the evening. It was a bit of a roller coaster, ups and downs of everything, weather, tyres, you name it, mate. Everything happened. ACU round is the main one that I was going for, and again, fantastic race weekend between me, Paul and Morgan. Yes, you saw that Paul and Morgan did leave me behind a little bit, but it was my first time there, and unfortunately, I just didn't have what them guys had that day. Came away with one of my most favourite trophies. I think this year is quite cool. Really happy with how the weekend went. In the video, I probably sound a little bit disheartened, but I enjoyed it really. I was racing motorbikes, enjoying the time of life. So yeah, Teesside tomorrow. The video won't be out till probably another few weeks because August is busy for me. I've got Alton Park. I've got the 6-hour endurance race tomorrow. I've got Three Sisters, I think, again, and then there's another 12-hour endurance race. So a lot of racing for me in August. So apologies for the delays in the videos. But yeah, that's all I've got to say. Thank you to everyone that's watched the video. Thank you to all my subscribers so far. Thank you to my family for taking me to and from the races and helping me out massively. All my sponsors, and I shall see you guys at Teesside.